Hola amigos, Victor Saiz from Victor Marathoner. Today I want to share with you my own experience to go from couch potato to a marathon finisher. The parenthood, sleepless nights and sedentary lifestyle with lots of eating and little activities or exercise made me gain a lot of weight. So I was 100% committed to try something new. In terms of running experience, I had done the odd junior park run with the little one, or even going back to 2013, before I had kids, I ran the Madrid Marathon. But fast forward 8 years, parenthood with inactivity plus lockdown in the last 2 did not really help, and the proof was on the scales. So I thought I needed to go back to running, as it was pretty much the only thing that was allowed due to COVID. And that perhaps is my first lesson today. You may not know yet you like running. I did not. I enjoy it a lot now. But of course, if you are a couch potato like I was in January with a very sedentary lifestyle, running is tough at the beginning. And you can call running an acquired taste, as it takes a lot of time and effort to see big gains. But if you trust the process, it is so good in so many levels. I weigh now around 85 kilos, which is 10 kilos less than in January. I feel better, with more energy, but as you can see, this is not a 20 days magic diet. It has taken me a lot of commitment, discipline, and dedication over a whole year. So let's see how I did it. So 2nd of January, after weighing myself, I had lots of resolution. So I took my old trainers from Madrid Marathon. Perhaps you can check my video of 2021 shoe review. And yeah, I head out of the door, and it was cold, but I thought I would go for an easy 5 kilometers run, at least in my head. However, I was not able to run even 3 kilometers. And that was in what was supposed to be or feel like an easy pace. But I didn't know I was going too fast, too soon, and more on that later. But just look at the heart rate. Average 168 beats per minute. That is a lot. And you can see how it creeps over time. I think even I had to do a quick stop to walk after 1 kilometer. And that was devastating. I could not run even 3 kilometers. But the one thing I did really well, and again, perhaps without realizing or knowing, was to keep the consistency. And this eye-opener moment probably increased my commitment to run. It was just not only about living a healthier lifestyle and losing weight anymore. It was absolutely not possible for me. My mind could not conceive that I was not able to run past 3 kilometers. So I had now to get back in shape. So I kept at it. I ran over 46 kilometers in total in January, which, is nothing if you compare to my standards today. That would be a short week for me now, not a whole month. But the most important thing is I went out and ran for 15 days in January. So every other day, I went for a run. And by the end of January, I did a 3.6 kilometer run. So again, not yet the 5 kilometers I had in mind when I first head out of the door on 2nd of January, but it was 1 kilometer more. And this may not seem a lot or great improvement to you. It definitely didn't feel like that to me back then. But this is my second piece of advice today. Do not compare yourself with others. You just need to compare yourself with yourself from yesterday. And if you see improvements, even if they are minimal, you are going in the right direction. What I was not doing well at all is that I was going too fast for my fitness level. So what was happening is that I was going all out effort, always over 160 beats per minute, which I now know that's over 90% of my max heart rate. And that has two side effects. First, you are not working the right system to gain endurance, which should be our aerobic system, because you are running too fast. And secondly, I was running all out, so any gains I had meant the time spent was actually decreasing for the same distance. So I was training less time at the same effort. And this is my third lesson. Your heart does not know the speed you run, or even the distance. It just knows how hard it's working and for how long. So if you run over your aerobic threshold, and for that please check my MAF test video, you will get tired so much faster. You will recover later because you are using up more oxygen and energy than your body can deliver to your muscles, which in turn, in simple language, means your training time will decrease for the same distance. So you are actually training less and less. So big and most important learning from me when you start as a couch potato: go slow and run for longer. It can even seem you are walking, but trust the process and you will see gains. Because if you go faster, the risk of injury increases a lot. In fact, there are a lot of studies that show you should run minimum 80% of your workouts at a slow, easy effort, and a maximum of 20% at high intensity effort, which means 4 out of 5 of your runs should be easy. And with easy, I mean you should be able to maintain a conversation. If you are short on breath, you are running too fast. On the plus side, I did 2 things very well. And that was probably due to my mindset and commitment resolution to improve my fitness and lose weight. Kept at it, so discipline. Once I had the commitment to go out there, I kept running almost every other day. And you can see now I started to hit in February the 5-kilometer distance. But this was 21st of February, so 7 weeks out from the start. Think about that for a moment. From coach to 5 kilometers, running every other day, it took me 7 weeks. But even that first 5 kilometers run, it was not a good one in retrospective. Checking the heart rate average was again over 160 beats per minute, and that including 2 short stops where I walked a bit. You can see I started too fast, and every kilometer split my pace was going down, but my heart was spiking up. So that means I was going too fast too soon. If I had started at the lower pace, so 6 minutes 23 seconds per kilometer from the beginning, I could have probably finished the 5 kilometers without stopping for a walk. And yes, it would have taken me longer, which is not good maybe for your social media post, but it is definitely better to improve your fitness and endurance. So overall, run as slow as you need to be on an easy pace, and with consistency and discipline, it will pay off. I ran over 53 kilometers in February, which were 7 kilometers more than in January. And that's with 3 days less in the month and 2 less runs. I was going in the right direction, even with poor judgment or little knowledge about pace. And this is another important lesson for me. And something I totally recommend for those couch potatoes out there watching this video. It was not only running to start with. As I could not run a 5 kilometers, and this was playing in my head, and was only running between 12-20 minutes when I went for a run, I also started to do some walks to complement. And this, when your fitness levels are so low, can really help. Actually, even when you walk, your heart rate will go up if your fitness is not good. And you do not feel that tired. You can recover faster. You can walk for longer, both in duration and distance. And that is a win-win. So this was also in Corona time. And I started with a 30-day step competition with my team at work. And I needed to top up my kilometer walk-ins because running was not enough to get to 10,000 steps per day. And I didn't want to let my team down. If you struggle to keep your heart rate down in your runs, you can absolutely combine with some walks, and that's fine. I would say minimum 20-30 minutes walk to gain some aerobic benefits. Another good idea is if you can cross-train. And with that, I do not mean to go to the gym to lift weights or do yoga or core or HIIT training. Those are really good, but for other purposes like strength, mobility, but not to improve your endurance. With cross-train, I mean activities like swimming, cycling, aqua gym. Think about something that can perhaps work on different muscles, even with less impact than running, but sports that get your heart rate elevated enough for a prolonged time to gain some fitness and endurance. And probably, if you can, the best advice I can give you is to ask for help. I am fortunate that I have a very, very good friend who is a certified personal coach and a keen Ironman triathlete. So I asked for help when I had the crazy idea to run a second marathon. I knew I was doing something wrong, as although by April time I was able to run 10K now, I was feeling very tired. So Tom, my coach and friend, created a training plan for me, tailored to my fitness level at that time to get me safe and healthy to the starting line in Berlin. So we started 26th of April with a training plan to get to Berlin, and the rest is history. But what remained consistent is no matter what the weather was, it was dark, if I had to get up very early before the family and kids had to go to school, I kept running. I was very committed to improve my fitness whilst minimizing the risk of injury as much as possible. And for that, I started 8 weeks with a general plan before going into specific marathon training target. And in there, I had to unlearn, I had to slow down before I could see big improvements. So you can see here, my average pace was 6 minutes, 11 seconds per kilometer. So that's almost 1 minute per kilometer slower than my attempts during January and February. But looking at my heart rate, the average was 145. So that's perfect. That's within my aerobic zone. I was training the right system. And of course, that allowed me to run for longer, 16 kilometers now. And the benefits after running like that for a few weeks were visible. So in this one, 2 more kilometers in total, with an average pace 19 seconds per kilometer faster, but without increasing my heart rate. So I was seeing benefits just running slower to get faster. Another important recommendation is to rest. The body needs to recover, so sleep as much as you can. And well, to be honest, I cannot preach what I really don't practice here, because with family commitments, demanding job, etc., I usually run very, very early. So I probably do not get as many hours of sleep per night as I really need. But what I did well is to respect the rest days and really do nothing. Maybe just a stretch or mobility, but do not run on rest days. That allows the body to recover. And of course, you need to have fun. I still kick the ball about, just not anymore on the local league with risk of injuries, but instead I play with my little one. Or, of course, the couch will always be there. Netflix, yeah, I still watch movies. But now I really select moments, the good quality time before going to the couch as the place to be. And I even take my running gear now with me when I travel. Unfortunately, COVID got better and we can travel again. You can enjoy beautiful sunrises, sunsets, see magical places. You can even run again in person, maybe just for some fun. At the end, a plan is just a plan. But all that commitment and discipline will get you from Coach Potato to be able to run a marathon. If you really want to finish a marathon in the next months, follow all these recommendations. Please let me know how they go. And once you get to a point where you can run comfortably over 1 hour in your aerobic zone, and that is an important point, not 1 hour all out, then you can take on my sub 4 hours 16 weeks marathon plan video up there in the link. And I'm sure you will smash it. And that beer at the end will taste very, very good. But above all, enjoy your process and share it. You will inspire other people in your journey. I cannot be prouder that my son is now running with me. And of course, keep a smile, always a smile, and set new goals, challenges, and targets to keep things interesting. But enjoy running no matter what the season or weather is. Always run to be a better version of yourself. I really hope you like this video. If so, please click like, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends and comment. And I want to wish everyone a really happy 2022 full of happy kilometers and hopefully with less couch potatoes and more marathoners out there. Until the next one, Happy New Year!